Yeah, it's Jackie here from the LGFA. We're on another Zoom call today, and we're going back down memory lane with two former intercounty stars and all stars as well. On the top left-hand side of my screen, in her office, Dymphna O'Brien from Limerick. How are you, Dymphna? And on the
Hi,
bottom of my
Jackie.
screen, I have Brianne Leahy from Kildare. Brianne, Leahy or Leahy? How do you pronounce that surname?
Leahy.
Leahy. But
In
we'd be the
Tipperary to do Leahy, but
the
Leahy.
Lahey's in Tipperary, exactly. How are you, Brian? Two-time All-Star as well, 2001, 2007, and Dymphna All-Star in 2006. And ladies, the reason I brought you on was obviously because back in 2001, Brian, when you won your first All-Star, you were playing junior football, and Dymphna, you were in a similar grade in 2006. So to break the mold and come through and win All Stars in those years must have given you great pride. Of course, Brian, you won another one in later in 2007. But Brian, to win an All Star in 2001 for the first time, what was that? Can you recall the feeling to what it was like to win one?
Yeah, it was. I was very young at the time. Like I would have been not long out of secondary school. So to win one then, it was even unbelievable then to win one. And I think actually the same year, the girl I played midfield with in school, Kathleen O'Reilly, got an All Star that year as well. So the two of us were just shell shocked when they announced it in the hotel that night because they kind of announced them then after the All Ireland finals. So yeah, it was great. It was great for my family and great for people in Kildare as well. So it was a really proud moment for myself and my family and friends. Yeah.
And what was it like then to win the second one 6 years later, Brian?
The second one was yeah, I wasn't. I remember going up to the All Star Awards in Dublin, and I wasn't expecting to win it at all. But just going up there to have some fun. So I was really shocked to win it in 2007. It was a great experience. But then in 2007, we were in senior grade,
Hmm.
and we were competing well at that stage, competing not badly like at that stage. So yeah, it was I was just a bit shocked to get it, but I knew I worked hard as well, and delighted.
Yeah, I'll come back to the overall Kildare journey as well, Brian, because you had a couple of disappointments before breaking through at a senior level and then or a junior level, and then obviously playing intermediate and getting up senior. Dymphna, yourself, to win an All Star, I saw you play many times during your career, an incredible forward. Would have graced any intercounty team in the country, as would you, Brianne, I have to say. Dymphna, to win an All Star, where does that rank? I know you won two junior titles with Limerick as well during your career, and I remember 2018, and I was on the sideline and looking back up, and I could see how much that one meant to you. But when you rank your achievements, All Stars, you've won a couple of Interfirms as well with AIB where you work. Where does that All Star rate, Dymphna?
Yeah, I suppose, it was it's right up there with the rest of my achievements. And I suppose, like Brianna, we would have been, with Limerick, probably a junior player, didn't ever think that I'd win one. And I suppose, when I was, obviously, I won it in 2006, I was 22, and, went up that night to the City West. Would never have thought that I would have, been called out in the night. So, yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. And, I suppose, like, everyone dreams of it, and yeah, it's right up there with everything I've won, I suppose. And it's you play to achieve, and you know you know did I ever think I'd win an All-Star? Coming from a weaker county, probably not. So yeah, I hold it very close to my heart. Yeah.
The last couple of years have been very good for AIB and the Interfirms, Dymphna. So obviously COVID put paid to plans to win another one this year. But what's it like to experience that level of football compared to anything else you've experienced at club and intercounty level?
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, we meet up, and I suppose at the start, the interference became, like, it was a social outing, but I suppose we've a group of players within the IB, and I think we all have a competitive edge, so it kind of slowly went to a very competitive competition. And the standard that's there, on the day when the tournament is held is, just getting better and better every year. So I think we were looking forward to this year again after last year. And I suppose, with COVID now, we were disappointed that it wasn't going to be, that it's not obviously being held this year. But I'm sure, in years to come, again next year, hopefully, that we'll be able to get back into it. And you know, again, hopefully retain our title. But yeah, no, definitely one of the best, you know, tournaments that I probably have taken part in. Very well run, and yeah, the standard is absolutely phenomenal. And as I said, it's just getting better and better every year. So, you know, it's great to see new teams every year that you go up. And I suppose, you know, that's what it's about. What it's about is, you know, just promoting it and getting new teams on board every year. But yeah, no, it's brilliant.
Absolutely. Brianne, what's the experience then like of winning All-Ireland titles with your county? I mean, you had some disappointments. There was 2001 when you won the All-Star. I think your birthday is coming up pretty soon. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, yeah, in
Yeah.
October. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
always near when the All Ireland final was on. My birthday was always around that time. But yeah, like, you know, for us, we won 5 Leinster junior titles, and we just wanted to make that breakthrough to get the All Ireland title. And there was plenty disappointment on the way. With 2001, we got heavily defeated by Roscommon, and then a lot of the players stuck together, and we really gelled as a team, and we were really good friends. And I suppose a lot of that core of the team stuck together throughout those years. And in 2003, then Donegal,
Mm.
we unfortunately didn't win it, and big disappointment. So by the time 2004 came, we just thought, oh, this is third time lucky. Come on, we can win this. And it was relief as well as just total, just big celebrations in the county for a week or two. And yeah, we were delighted to get over that, and it was unbelievable. It's one of my highlights of like my career in football is winning that 2004 in Croke Park, and to all those girls as well. We have great memories of it.
So when it came to 2004, defeat was simply not an option, I presume, Brianne. There was a huge determination that it wasn't going to be 3 All-Ireland finals and 3 losses.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it started to go around that, you know, Kildare are going to bottle this again. And,
Okay.
you know, there was a point in the match there where they were coming back at us, and you were, you know, you could have thought, oh God, this is it again. But we ploughed on and came out the winners that day. But yeah, some people thought, oh, we'd bottle it, but we didn't. And of course, back then, the junior grade, we went straight up to senior then the following year. So it was a great few weeks for us to just get that title, because it meant a lot more to us, because we lost 2 All-Ireland finals before that.
Dymphna, what were your experiences of All-Ireland finals? Lost out unfortunately in 2009, winner in 2010 and 2018. What one meant the most to you, Dymphna? I think I might know the answer to it, but I mean, they were both equally special in their own way. But as I said to you right at the start, I could just see how much 2018 meant to you, because obviously you were coming towards the end of your inter-county career. But I'm sure 2010 was very, very special as well.
Yeah, I suppose, and like Brianne, we had come from the back of a loss in 2009, and you know, I suppose, like, you know, from Limerick, and I suppose we had gone through our fair share of disappointments as well along the way, and you know, a bit like that, and we'd get so far, but we could just never get over the line. And I suppose in 2009, 2010, a lot of that team, we would have, you know, played up through the years together, so we were absolutely, you know, probably near enough to family at that stage. So yeah, look, it was absolutely fantastic to win in 2010 with, you know, people that, you know, that you probably had been playing, you know, county with since you were under 14. So and I suppose in 2018 it was a total different group of girls and a different crop of players. I think I was the youngest, I'd say, after me was probably about 30, 31, 32. I would have been 34 at the time. So, and then, you know, there was a massive drop in age then after that, like to 21, 22, 23. Like, so, you know, there was certainly, you know, comparing to 2010, there were, you know, I suppose people that I would have grown up with from my same club as myself. And then, yeah, just going on to 2018 then, and it's just a total different group of players. And there was myself, Ollie Giltinan, Martina Giltinan. There was probably 4 of us that were, you know, still there since 2010. So it was nice to win with them too in 2018, but definitely 2010, you know, as I said, winning with family and friends, can't beat it.
Do you miss inter-county, Dymphna?
Ah, Yeah, it's nice, obviously I'm working away from home now. Well, I'm not working from home, I'm in Limerick, so travelling in and out is tough. And, I suppose with county football now, it's no longer, it's nearly a full-time job in itself. Like, so, just to be able to commit, would I be able to give it 100%? Definitely not. So, yeah, like, while I do miss it, it's nice to go home in the evenings and sit down after a day's work and throw the legs up as well. Like, so, yeah, no, I do miss it at times, and I suppose I find it hard to go, sometimes you go to watch a match and you're happy to watch it, and then other times you've just been mad to get out there. So, but yeah, no, it's nice to be able to go to them and relax, and you're not there with expected of you to maybe score a few goals or score a few points. But yeah, it's nice to go to watch them, but then on the flip side, it's hard to go to them as well sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your experience, Brianne? I know you've a very busy house, so I'm sure football would be hard to make time for that as well at the moment.
Yeah, I suppose like I got married like in 2013, and I think I finished up county football then, and I suppose I wanted to move on to the next phase of life and had kids and everything. So I have 3 young children now, and yeah, I'd say for the first year or two out of county, you miss that little bit of a bubble, you miss that competitive edge. But then after that, I like Dymphna said, it was nice to just not have to be out every night of the week and training all the time. But I still try to keep see how the Kildare girls are getting on, and with Twitter and Instagram, you can really look how they're going now. But yeah, definitely, even at club level now, you would miss it. You would miss playing it. But for the first few years, like even a year or two after county, you'd miss it. Yeah.
We had a couple of girls on from Cork recently. They're back. They were out of football for years, and then they became mums, and then they decided to go back playing club football.
Yeah.
So maybe you never know.
Well, I went back after Martin D, my first fella, and I had a second. My second child was 15 months later, so I had to pull a hamstring there along the way. So then after Porrick, my second child, in fairness, my sister kind of said, come back to club and play. And in fairness, I went back soon after. He was born in January, and I went back 2 or 3 months after. And in fairness, we big achievement in our club to win our first senior title that year. So it was great memories winning that with St. Lawrence's as well. Yeah.
Excellent. I see you have 2 items on the window around behind me. So can you see, is there a lucky horseshoe there as well?
There's a horseshoe there, yeah, and I think my husband put the All-Star there. He knew I was on today.
Brilliant. Well placed. Good placement there. Good play. The lucky horseshoe, tell me about that, because obviously I would have seen many of them in many households down through the years, and they're meant to bring good luck, obviously. So is that the reason it's in your house?
I think that's why it's in the house, and my husband Martin owns that, so he always has it in the house for luck. And in fairness, we've been very lucky and blessed with 3 boys and another little one on the way, so we'll keep that horseshoe there.
Excellent. Yeah. I wish you so well. It's a busy time for you. Dymphna, you have some modern art, I believe, over your left shoulder there in the back.
Yeah, Jackie, I do a bit of art in my spare time as well.
Come here to me, Dymphna. How has life been? I mean, obviously, we were chatting on the phone yesterday just to tee this up, and work has changed and everything has changed and life has changed so much. How have you found the last few months working in such a busy company? How has that been?
Yeah, I suppose like every other company, it has its challenges, and I suppose in fairness, AIB have they've been very good to the employees. And I think, employees respect that. But yeah, it's been challenging, I suppose. We've worked through it all. We're front facing in the branch, though. I'm in the branch in O'Connell Street, so we're front facing. But it is a challenge, and I suppose it continues to be a challenge. And I think, it will continue to be a challenge. But it's good to be able to get up, I suppose, and have your routine every day and be able to come into work and, keep the doors open as well for our customers. But yeah, again, as I said, it is a challenge. Every day is a challenge. You don't know, from one day to the next what it's going to bring. You just don't, and it's hard, I suppose, being a branch and it's raining outside and you have a queue out the door, trying to manage that it's hard. And obviously we don't want anybody standing outside in a queue waiting to get into a bank to get their money or whatever they have to do. But, it's just, it's the new norm now, Jackie, I think is the new buzzword. So, we just have to, I suppose, go with it now, and hopefully that we'll see it getting better and better, as the year will go on. But at the moment, I don't see that changing. But, who knows?
Is it getting progressively busier week by week, Dymphna? Do you notice that?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I suppose we would have noticed it picking up around probably June or July. We would have said, oh, we're getting busier. But, now that companies are back and schools are back, it definitely has picked up another pace or two. And, the volume, the footfall of people coming in, it's definitely evident. Like, and, you walk down the street in O'Connell Street in Limerick, and it's, it's back to normal. Like, I would consider it back to normal anyway.
Okay. And Brianne, how's life with you? Obviously busy. How have, as a parent and how have you adapted, and how have the kids been?
Yeah, well, my kids, in fairness, they're young, they're 5, 4 and 2, so they're young enough, so they didn't really realise that much. But
have you anyone in school, Brianne?
As well, like especially the 5-year-old missed playing with his friends.
Of course.
So that was very difficult. Like, so it was great. I'm really happy that the schools are back, because you can just see at the schools, the kids are just so happy to be back in school, and there's just that bit of normality back, and hopefully they stay open. We're just, as Dymphna said, we're going to be living with this virus for a while until the vaccine comes out, and hopefully that comes out sometime next year. And can get rid of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you 1 or 2 in school, Brianne?
I have 2 in school, so junior infants and senior infants, yeah. So I have 2 in school, and John's at home with me, yeah.
Okay, so it's full on, isn't it? It's
full on, and there's 2 different pickups, and it's just, I'm constantly in the car, but that's what our parents did, and I'm sure Dymphna remembers her parents bringing them to matches and driving all over the country, and just so we could love the game of football, so we could play and what we enjoyed. Like, so that's all ahead of me. And even seeing them now taking part in club, just going down to play with their friends and play a bit of ball is great as well. It's all it's just the circle of life, really, like,
Yeah, it's lovely actually. Rockwell Rovers is the club down the road from us here, and my little fella now, he goes down, and it's it's not competitive by any means. They're just playing fun games.
Exactly.
It's a lovely environment for them. Where did that love of sport and football? Where did that develop? Was that from your parents, or did you take to football straight away, Brianne, or had you other sports that you tried as well? Obviously.
Yeah, I suppose I was brought up on a farm, and we were a family of 10, so I had 5 brothers and 2 sisters. So like, even my older brothers would be showing me how to kick ball, and she'd be running around in the farm, and I just took up to football straight away, more than dolls or anything like that. So yeah, that's how and my parents love sport as well. My father, he would have won a junior All-Ireland with Kildare. He was in the goals, and he played in Cope Park. And then my mum is from Tipperary, and she's really into hurling, and they would just had a love of like GA. So that was just we got the same, like, so all of us at home would have played football in Ireland at one stage, like, so yeah, that's how it happened.
So were you ever the Leahys when you went down to Tip, or was it always the Leahy?
Yeah, we do call them the Leahys down in Tip, yeah. But up here we were correcting them going over Leahy.
Dymphna, yourself, what was your experience growing up? Were you dolls or footballs or other sports, or what way did you play it?
Yeah, I suppose, where I come from is a small village in West Limerick, and there wouldn't be a whole lot there now, but I suppose it all started in primary school, and we just happened to have Principal Maggie person. So it was, I remember meeting him a short time late, like when I left school, and I met him in a friend's house, and he was asking me what did I learn at school, and I said the only thing I learned was how to spell O'Neill's off of football. So I'll tell you, it was constant football. And I suppose where I come from, the village, I live in the village, and there was many girls in my year that were living in the village, so it was a lot of the boys. So again, like Brianne, a small bit of a tomboy, and out kicking football with the boys every evening, home from school, bag thrown down. out to the front and kicking around with the boys. And, you know, I would have played, I suppose, the school football with both the girls and the boys, and then went on to play under 12s with the boys, and then the girls, and under 14s with the boys and the girls, and then obviously the boys stopped in at under 14. So, but yeah, definitely, you know, school was a big thing for me anyway, for when I got started. And then obviously my club then would have been very strong at the time, you know, at that time as well in the football with underage. And, you know, we obviously were playing together at school, and then it went on to the club. So we were pretty much playing, you know, the same players at both club and school level. So yeah, that's where it all started, I suppose. And, you know, I just happened to have I have five sisters and two brothers. And, you know, a lot of my sisters would be involved in it as well. So, you know, a bit of encouragement there as well. And, you know, they're still involved, and I suppose it's hard into, you know, I've one of my sisters is heavily involved in the club, and we all try to help out, but I suppose it's hard to walk away from it then. And, you know, no, they're probably on the background saying, go on, sure, play, sure, we're stuck. But yeah, no, you just have to, I suppose the time comes and you just have to walk away.
That's hard.
Exactly, I'm not getting any younger.
That's tough when you're still a spring chicken anyway. But is that a hard thing to do, or to say, Dymphna, that, you know, the no? I mean, some people are not good at saying no. It's difficult to kind of.
Yeah, like definitely, it's definitely hard to say no, because again, like, you know, you know, some of them you feel in a way that, are you letting them down? You know, but I suppose, look, I was playing it for long enough, and, you know, I just think, you know, the time came, and, you know, I think a lot of my own, you know, age would have stopped playing, and, you know, there was a new crop of players coming through, so I think that kind of made it easier to go then than it would have been in the past. Like, so yeah, look, I played it for long enough, as I said, and, you know, there's a new, you know, group of players coming through now, and, you know, thankfully the numbers in the club is, you know, they seem to be increasing, which is brilliant. And, you know, hopefully they'll continue to increase. But yeah, no, it was definitely hard to walk away. And again, some days you're there, will I go back? Will I go back, or will I be able for it if I went back? So yeah, no, it is hard to walk away from it. But, you know, the time comes, Jackie, when you just,
Sure.
I suppose.
Sure. I don't know what happened there, but you're after flipping over on my screen, I think, anyway. So that's some glitch in the matrix. But you're both still here, which is great. Dymphna, can I ask you, like, and I meant that sincerely earlier on, that I saw you playing so many times, and anytime you got the ball, just absolutely clinical in front of goal. Was there a time when you realised, and you can take off the modesty hat for this one, was there a time when you realised that actually I'm quite good at football and I could actually do something really significant with my playing career? When did you realise or understand that you had a talent? And I'll put that question to you as well in a minute, Brianne. When did you realise that you had a talent and that you could go far in the sport?
I suppose, like, it's a very hard question now, Jackie. It's a very good question, but it's a hard question. But I suppose, like, you know, you play because you love it, and, you know, you don't go out any day to, you know, to be better. Like, you do, obviously, you go out and you want to play the best that you can and to give it 110%. Like, obviously, being a forward, your job is to score. So, you know, while, you know, I suppose height wasn't on my side, and maybe I got a bit of, you know, people might have took a bit pity on me, but yeah, like, you know, I never thought of it like that. And, you know, to say I wouldn't think of it like that either, but, you know, the way I would have thought about it is my job to score. And, you know, obviously it was a great feeling to be able to score, and, you know, to be able to maybe score the winning score. You know, that was fantastic, you know, and that feeling will always be, you'd be thinking back of matches that you might have played, and you might have scored the winning point or the drawing point to get into, you know, to draw the match or whatever. But yeah, like, I never thought of it that, you know, yeah, I had a talent. And when did I realize that? Like, I just played because I loved it, and
Okay.
I played because I had friends, and, you know, that's basically it. Like, and, you know, I could pick up the phone now to, you know, and if I was going to any county, probably pick up the phone and have a friend wherever you'd be going, like, and, you know, that's all down through football, like.
Well, Brianne, what was it like for you? What was your experience then, when you knew that, yeah, I'm good at this game? Because we've obviously seen the studies in terms of dropout of kids in that, you know, the 13 to 15, 16 age bracket. But obviously you two guys kept going and pushed on through those years as well. Was that because you loved the game, as Dymphna
Yeah.
alludes to, or because you were good at it and you were getting starts on teams and stuff like that? Or what was your experience?
I think you have to, there's a certain amount that you have to really love the game, because if you really love the game, then you keep practice and
Sure.
you're quite driven for it. And I think that's how I became good. And maybe like I started very young on the senior ladies club in Grange, and I would have been only like in sixth class or first year, and they would have threw me into big positions. So, and I knew I could, I wasn't afraid of it. And I think it just developed from there. And I went to school, football and Leos. And then of course with my own club, like when I was young, I would have been started in midfield nearly, and I knew, oh, I'm not bad at this. Like I think you just, once you really enjoy the game, you get that competitive edge, and you just want to be better and better and better yourself. Well, that was for me, like, yeah.
Yeah, because you alluded to it earlier on as well. You were pitched into that elite setup at quite a young age, Brianne.
Yeah, I think back there, as Dymphna said, like in school, in primary school, in mixed primary school, there was no underage for girls. You were mixed in with the boys, and I think that just made you even tougher. Like, and when you went into the ladies' game, you didn't mind the physical aspect of it, and yeah, just starting from a young age and just given loads of encouragement from mentors and from like my primary school teacher, Sean Canan. So it was just, yeah, it was just, that was it. Like, yeah.
Okay. And Dymphna, you've had experience
Well, I
as
suppose,
well.
yeah,
Go on,
okay,
Dymphna,
well,
yeah.
no, I suppose just on the back of Brianna's, like, you, there's, when you might be, well, we might have been on a club team, we might have been good, like, but, obviously, there comes expectations with that then, like, you could, if you didn't score in a match, like, what happened to you, or you didn't perform, or, so there was expectations as well, but again, you had to just rise above them and just keep practicing and practicing, and I suppose that was the most important thing, is to keep practicing and not let a bad day knock you or get you down, and learn from that, I suppose.
So how did you carry that expectation then, Dymphna, when people expected you to be putting up high scores most days, but it didn't happen perhaps on a certain day? How did you manage that?
Like, I suppose, Jackie, like you can be only as good as your last game, and while you like a challenge always, but just you don't know who you're coming up with. Like, you might be the best that day, and someone else might be the best the next day, and the player you might be on this yesterday might have been weaker than the player you're on today. So you just, I suppose, go out onto the field on any given day, and think, concentrate on your own performance and see how what you can do to perform to the best of your ability, and think some days it works and then other days it doesn't, like, and just important not to let those days get you. Either a day that you might have a bad day, or you might kick 5 wides and not score a goal, just don't let it get you down, I suppose, is the important thing, and just keep practicing.
Yeah, because there was always an opportunity the next day to put it right, obviously, Dymphna. And for Brianne yourself, obviously a player mainstay for club and county for so long, and a player renowned as somebody who was a go-to player. Like, how did you manage to carry that responsibility on your shoulders? Did it burden you in any way, or did you embrace it?
I think I've embraced it. I think it was actually harder for Dymphna, because she probably felt she had to get so many scores per game, whereas I just embraced it. I always like go out to the pitch thinking you're the best, and try and perform it to the best of your ability, and help the players around you. I think you have to have a certain amount of confidence going out. There's no point in going out thinking, oh, I'm going to be marking, I don't know, Juliet Murphy, she's going to roast me. There's no point in going out with that mindset, which she probably would roast me, but there's no point in going out with that mindset. So I always have the mindset just going out and doing my very, very best, and hoping in the meantime that I would have a good game. But as Dymphna said, we all have our good games and bad games, and all you can do is your best.
Absolutely, and you
That's
certainly did that,
me.
and then some. Dymphna, you kind of made the transition then, or I've seen you running the line on a number of occasions at games. Was that something you were always interested in, or when did it start? Were you doing that while you were obviously doing it while you were still playing at club level? When did that interest arise for you, that you wanted to get involved with a team of officials as well?
I suppose I just felt so bad about the abuse I used to give to the referees, Jackie. Give something back. No, I suppose Catherine Murphy, and she would have been involved with Limerick for a long time, herself and Catherine's parents, Michael and Kathleen. But yeah, Catherine was big into it, and she was refereeing, and so I used to kind of get the call, or if there was a game on in Limerick, and they might have been, as I used to say, are you very, very stuck?
Mhm.
And yeah, look, if I could have helped in any way, I was kind of pulled into it. But yeah, no, I enjoy that too, and it's not definitely. It's definitely not easy being on, even doing the line, not mind the referee's job.
Mm.
But it's gas meeting, referees that you could have ate the head off 3 weeks ago, and then you're inside in the changing room, small enclosed area, and stand behind the back. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good to be able to, to forget about those days as well, and to be able to chat with them, in a dressing room then after that.
Are you able to enjoy a game in that capacity, Dymphna? Are you more focused on making the right calls?
Oh yeah, I suppose it's important to make the right calls, and yeah, you wouldn't enjoy a game, and I suppose you could, from playing, you could get carried away, and watching the game, and there could be two players, pulling the jerseys off each other behind you. So it's important that you're kind of watching that, and you definitely can't enjoy it, and I don't envy them at all, the referees or the linespeople. Again, as I said, when they do ring, or Karen or any of the guys in the LGFA ring and ask or text when I want to, it's always, are you very, very stuck? Because it ain't an easy job.
Brianne, do you still take an interest in the fortunes of Kildare and how they're doing? Obviously, they're doing particularly well in the league before shutdown, and they could be dark horses for the intermediate championship as well. Do you still keep an eye in there?
And even there in 2016, when they won it, they asked me to come in and help out, just give water to the girls on the pitch. Like, it was great to be in the dressing room, to see the girls before the game and after the game, and see how they're doing. So yeah, I try and follow their games, and I try as much as I can get into games, but it's hard with young kids. But they're doing great, and I think it helped that we came from senior down to intermediate, and it just made that they rebuilded. And yeah, the disappointment there in 2017 losing, but then to come back, I think it was the following year. Was it 2018? Yeah, it was 2016, the one. Sorry.
Yes.
2016. So it was good for them to come back in 2016 and win the All-Ireland title there, like against Clare. So I do try and keep an eye on how they're doing, and I think they have a good chance of doing it this year if hopefully it goes ahead in November and December.
Yeah, fingers crossed everything goes to plan. Ladies, it's been great talking to you today. I hope you've enjoyed the chat. Brianne, you have a lot on your plate coming up. We wish you well with everything later on in the year. Dymphna, good to catch up as well. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, we're surviving.
And congrats to you, Jackie, on your new arrival.
Well, thank you very much, Dymphna. I'm surviving on coffee at the moment, but we're doing okay. We're all doing okay. My special guests today, Dymphna O'Brien from Limerick and Brianne Leahy from Kildare. Leahy. I'll get it right eventually. I'm so used to Leahy down here, Brianne. Don't mind me. Great chatting, guys. Enjoyed the catch up. Stay safe and stay well.
Okay,
you too, Jackie. Thanks a million. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.